So today, folks, this is Richard from the Leather Repair Company at Totally Leathered, and we've got Adam Blackwell in today from AR Detailing in Hull. So we're going to be talking to Adam today about what's involved with his business and the leather side of things, and obviously a little bit more insight into things like IDA and stuff like that as well. So we're going to be right back with you guys after this intro. So, we've got Adam here. Adam, introduce yourself and give us a little bit of details about yourself, your company and where you're located.
So, Adam Blackwell, I'm located in Hull, not too far from yourself, Richard. My company is AR Detailing and Valeting. I'm the owner, operator, HR, payroll, and everything in between, I think.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all
trades.
Trades.
Whole thing to the whole business. Yeah. Well, you have to when you're running your own business. You've got to be everything. You've got to be the admin. You've got to be the social media director, you've got to be the managing director, you've got to be everything, haven't you? Payroll director, you're literally the whole lot. So, and obviously you've then got family life to deal with and everything else. So yeah, I mean it's not easy. People think being in business is great fun and it's a simple thing to do, but far from it. It's not an easy thing. People think, oh, he's got his own business, he's made of money, he's rolling in it, and it's like, nah, very far from it. It's not as easy as that. It's a very difficult thing being in business, and people don't realise, I think, half the time how hard it really is, because especially when you're on your own, you're everything. Or at least with us, we've got staff. It's a little bit better. It's still bloody hard, but when you're literally a one-man band and you're on your own, then it's you are literally everything. You've got to pick up the phone, deal with social media, do the detailing, order your stock, accounts. It's everything, isn't it? It's very difficult. Sweep the floor, wash the floor. Yeah. Got to do the lot.
Yeah,
so.
There's certain jobs that are a job within itself, like the social media can take up so much of your time.
Oh, it does. Yeah, I mean, it's getting that social media right. Really, it's there is a lot more involved in it than what people believe. To be fair, so tell us, what made you get into detailing?
Well, it's a very long time ago. My old man used to have a show-winning car that we used to prep every weekend almost throughout the summer. I think I was about 5 years old, sort of thing, was always helping him. He kind of set the standard for me with that. The car was well known. It wasn't highly customised or anything like that. It was just a really high standard car. And so it set the bar to moving on to my cars when I was old enough to get my licence and my own car, taking them to shows and prepping them. And realistically, the word detailing, I didn't even know it was a thing, sort of thing. It was just, well, this is how you look after your own car. It was only a few years later when I really started getting into it and doing some research. It was, there's this huge industry called detailing, and people are really into it. And from there, it just kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole, and here we are today, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's surprising. I mean, a lot of people they get a lot of a mix-up between valeting and detailing. I mean, yes, some people use the term valeting and detailing in that, 'cause I mean, there is a big difference between doing a valet and a detail. But then you've got the other side of it where you get scratch and shine centres calling themselves detailing centres, and they're not really, and that's where you get the confusion with industries, which you get with any industry. So you've got all that confusion there, which is what, we're both members of the IDA, which is great, and we're also board members of certain things, so I'm in with the IDA. So it's good that we are trying to help to establish this and define this sort of what detailing really means, so that people can set it aside from the detailing to the valeting. And it's a very misunderstood, in my opinion, market, because people just latch on to this detailing and say, I'm a detailer. They've maybe only ever picked up a machine polisher once, looked at it, think, I don't know how to turn it on, but I'm a detailer. And that then ruins it for the true detailers that are out there. So that's my personal opinion of it anyway. And but I think they're really a valeter rather than a detailer, and that's what we need to try to define, which is what we're hoping to do as the IDA builds a lot more strength in the UK. So, what car was it he had?
Yeah, the Camaro.
Really?
1987, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, lovely.
So it was quite modern for its time, sort of thing.
Yeah.
We bought it early 90s, only a few years old.
Yeah. Did you buy it in this country and import it?
We imported it, went out to America himself, brought it back. The funny thing that I always kind of laugh at, it was black, and it was GM paint, which is probably the worst combo you can have for a black car. And I think back now to the stuff we used to do, like leather chamois to dry it off, and it was like, how did we win all these awards?
Yeah.
You know, you think of like using the microfibers and stuff like that now, and it's like what we could have done with the car.
Yeah, back then, if the technology had been there,
It's so much easier as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was like a case of every weekend waxing the car.
Yeah.
Which isn't the funnest job, is it?
No.
Some people really like waxing. I'm not one of them.
Yeah. No, some people love waxing the car. So I mean, it's I like to wax a car, even though I've got ceramics on them and stuff. But I mean, I find it enjoyable. Drives everybody mad because I'm always raving on about how this particular part shines more than what it did last time, even though it's probably just the bloody same. But I just maybe called it in a different light, you know. And it's just like, wow, look at the shine on that wing, and they're like, Richard, it still shines as much as what it did last time. But it's just, I don't know. That's maybe the passion. It's the excitement of doing it. I don't know. It's one of those things. So obviously we've touched on the IDA. Tell us, obviously you're a member. We're obviously like a manufacturing sponsor member, whereas you're a member. Are you CD? SV. Skills validated. So your skills validated, obviously working to the next levels, which obviously we're going to become skills validated and things and work our way up as well. Just finding the time to do that as well as doing everything else. So why do you think people should join the IDA, and what is the major benefit that you see for them?
So the main reason I joined the IDA was when I was really getting into the detailing scene. You go on these forums or Facebook pages, and people are asking a general question, and they're met with psycho comments, 101 different answers, and I just thought, why are we socialising sort of thing with people from weekend warriors all the way up to professionals? And it tends to be the professionals are on these pages, and I remember looking at the idea a few times, thinking about it, and then there was a webinar with Ivan LaCroix, an absolutely fantastic person in the industry. Ivan LaCroix, learned a lot from watching him on his YouTube channels, and I just thought, I'm going to give it a go. Listen to it, and I thought, absolutely perfect, what I'm looking for. It's the industry for professionals, everyone together, everyone helping each other, which has been probably the biggest thing I've received from the idea, is the amount of people I've met, the amount of people that have helped me, and the great thing is I get to help them back. It's just pulling everyone together, and it's separating yourself, like you said earlier, from people who call themselves detailers and literally have been to Halfords and got a bucket and sponge.
Yeah.
It's just setting a level, and everyone's working to that level, and everyone's trying to increase the industry, not just in awareness, but also the technology for people like yourself with manufacturers, but also, you know, the actual the standard in the industry. We're not just going to accept people pushing out cars and say, oh yeah, it's been detailed, and it's I mean, you've probably seen it yourself umpteen times. Oh, it's a 20-stage machine polish,
exactly.
and it's still full of swells.
Yeah. I mean that's again one of the reasons why we joined, is not as, you know, as a manufacturer, but we joined just purely and simply because I wanted to progress with the detailing side of things. And it's, yes, we've been doing the detailing longer, well, as long as the leather, but I mean, obviously it was the core business at the beginning, you know, 30 odd years ago. Learning everything in America, we're touring around the States and getting chucked in at the deep end, mainly by Dean Cruz, calling me in front of probably about 100 and some thousand people, here comes Little Dick from London, England, and I'm sure in more ways than one. And when you're 14 years old, 13, 14 years old, and you're then told that in front of all these Americans, which are then turning around and applauding Little Dick to get up on the stage, you can't afford to have embarrassment. And it's, you know, you sort of, so you're chucked in at the deep end with everything. And that's where it all began, with Dean saying, getting me to drive cars on the stage, and I couldn't even bloody drive. And I'm driving like Ferraris and all these sort of Rolls Royces up on the podium to bid at auctions, and then out the other side and meeting people from like Maguire's and stuff like that, and then they're saying, oh, come and help me wash and polish this car. And I wasn't there for that. I was there to buy cars with my boss at the time, and all of a sudden I'm roped into washing and polishing cars, driving them up on the podium, and everybody chapping and clearing Little Dick as he walks up on the stage. So it's
every 13-year-old boy's dream, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. The dream was obviously touring. You know, it's like touring around America and getting involved with all these cars, and it's like, you know, we met all sorts of walks of life. You know, we met like John Frankenheimer, was the producer of the French Connection. I mean, one of the most famous films in the world. And there was another film that he was producing at the time, and we were there because we were delivering some goods to him that he bought. And they were literally on set filming with all these famous people around. I didn't have a clue who they were because obviously it wasn't like it was today. Everybody's, you know, so easy to contact and get hold of and sort of find. And there was one role that they were missing out on in this film, and John was asking me with his butler that was from England, from his house in England, that was there as well, who we knew, and was asking me to star in this film. And I was like, I ain't got time for this. I want to go and tour America and view cars and stuff. And everybody was like, you're turning down a role in the film? I'm like, I ain't got time for this. I want to go and buy cars and sell cars and tour America. And everybody just thought it was great. And I had all these famous people walking up, talking to me, shaking hands, saying, oh my God, I can't believe you're just so nice and you're not wanting autographs. And I'm like, well, I ain't got a clue who you are. I didn't have a bloody clue who these people were. You know, because obviously, you know, I came from a background where we weren't really very wealthy, so we didn't like have TV until, you know, we didn't get TV when it was first invented. Obviously that's way before your time. Yeah, so I mean, when I was born, obviously people were only just getting TVs and things. So I mean, it's a long time ago. So I mean, we were obviously getting black and white TVs, and I you know, what we were listening to was radios all the time. So I was chucked in at the deep end, and that's why I love the IDA. You know, it's because I have that. Is to progress the business through, because obviously everything I've done has been self-taught with guys chucking me in at the deep end in America and then into the hair sort of restoration bays and stuff like that, you know. So I've been sort of chucked right in without really having that initial training. But obviously I've learned over the years with like you, watching people on YouTube that have become quite famous, like Mike Phillips and stuff like that, you know, just watching all those sort of guys, you know, which has really helped enormously. So. But I think, you know, the idea is it's setting standards, isn't it, up and above what everybody else is expecting from it, and it's trying to get that level playing field with everybody, which is like, again, it's the webinars that we have with that, you know, isn't it, with the Zoom meetings, it's everybody's helping everybody. You haven't got all this bitching that you get on all these forums on social media where, you know, I'm better than you and you're an absolute whatnot because, you know, you ain't got a clue and you shouldn't even be on it. You know,
these simple questions.
Someone asks a simple question, you just help them. You don't belittle them and make them look like an absolute idiot and a fool. And that's what I love about the IDA. We're all helping one another to grow and expand and get this level playing field. So, you know, which is really good. And that's what I'm really, really looking forward to with it is, you know, progressing that and, you know, making that grow. So, and I mean, it's again, as you grow as well, and, you know, you never know, one day you might become, you know, official trainer and stuff like that. You know, as you get on, that's exactly what my dream is you know, is to progress it right through to the top, and you never know, see where Craig goes with what he's doing. So I'd like to get him on here anyway.
Absolutely, Craig would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think we get Craig on here, and he can give us even more insight into the whole IDA side of it and his detective side with his business, with his detailing detective and stuff like that. I mean, it'd be really good. So
Craig's done an absolutely fantastic job with the idea.
Yeah, without a doubt. This year, I mean, it's
everyone together. The community's never been as strong as it has been. He's got a lot to answer for, his Craig. Yeah, he's done it.
I mean, over the last 12 months, it's been phenomenal with what he's pulled together with people, especially with getting all the, you know, these sort of like Zoom meetings that we do. You know, it's getting all those people together. Because I mean, it's like, even when I first went on, I think there was maybe, you know, I'm only talking like several months ago. I mean, there was only maybe, I think when I first went onto the meeting, I think there was 7 or 8 people on there. Yeah. And I think like the last one we had on, there was 20-something people I counted watching the screen. Yeah. There was 21 or 22 people.
I think the most we've had 28, I think it was at one point, which is it's phenomenal.
Yeah, so it is really growing. It's good.
For people just to give up their time on a Wednesday night to have a sit chat. And it's not always about detailing either, is it?
No, it's about anything. It's not just about detailing. It's just, you know, it's also like you're discussing social media, running the business, pros and cons of the business, you know, legal side of things. Even though nobody's lawyers, they can't really say yes, that's legal, but it's just, you know, they're giving helps and tips and pointers of where to go to get all this help and advice. So I mean, it's all very, very good and very useful information, and it's a good place to come on board. You know, anybody that's new to the business and it's new to the IDA, you're not going to be belittled coming on. You're helped right the way through from every stage. Yep. And like Craig says, his phone's always on, people are always there, pick it up, ring it, speak to him. Same with all of us, you know, we're there to help. You know, if we can't help at the time, we're not being rude, we will come back to you when we're busy, because we could be coating or anything. So, you know, and you then get back to people, and that's what the idea is about. It's building that family together and, you know, getting that family of people built up, and it's really good, and, you know, it's really useful. So that's what I like about it. It's a good, you know, thing, and it sort of leads on to the next question. you've sort of touched on that a little bit with beginning of your father's car with cleaning it down with a chamois. It's like you dread to sort of think that Christ would cleaned it, wiped it down with a chamois. How we do it now? How have you seen the industry change since you started? Which I think you've almost covered, but I mean, explain it a little bit further.
I mean, if we're going back, what would that be then? Nearly 30 years now. Going back to that leather chamois, which I'm pretty certain he's still got in his garage. He'll probably
they last forever if you make them good.
Yeah. The whole industry's changed from not just the technology, like machine polishers. I mean, that alone has advanced.
Well, yeah, from an original PC, port and cable serve, which is,
I mean,
or an angle grinder with the polishing head stuck on it. I've still got one of those.
Yeah.
I like it. I still love it. To be fair, it's bloody powerful, but Christ alive, talk about rip your arms off.
Do you know what? I haven't picked up my rotary in years. I was in my dad's garage, which is where I keep it, and it was like, oh, it's my rotary there. I picked it up and I was like, oh. I mean, I use my my Rupes 21 as my go-to.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think, oh, this machine's a bit heavy. And then you go and pick up your old rotary.
And you've got like 20 kilos or whatever it is. Yeah, it's like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, just the technology and that side, but even in the last couple of years, the advance in pads, compounds. I mean, compounds are so much better than they used to be. There's no more, or very little dusting, slinging, stain and stuff. A lot easier to remove. I just think the whole industry has grown massively.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, most people in the industry, the big companies that we think of big companies, on the grand scheme of things, the micro companies. They're run by like people like yourself, and it's a small business.
Yeah.
And we all look at them like phenomenal sort of thing, and it's nice to see. And there's a lot of UK companies coming up, which is great to see. I do think the whole industry does lean towards America a little bit, and they're often looking at what America's doing, and we're going to copy them. But no, it's great to see a lot of UK companies that have always been around, but they're really starting to gain some traction now.
It's the same sort of almost off topic. I was talking to someone the other day from DeVilbiss about DeVilbiss spray guns, because we're starting to use the DeVilbiss in house for all the leather side of things, and obviously they're great for coating wheels and grills and stuff like that. And I didn't realise, but they're made in England, down Bournemouth or somewhere like that. I had no idea. And of course you can get everything, because it's literally all handmade down there. And I'm sure it was Bournemouth or something like that, one of the sales reps was telling us. But I had no idea that they were made in England, and they've just been bought out by this huge conglomerate, which is trying to streamline their industry that they're in, streamline everything that they're doing to make it easier for people to understand. But I had no idea that they were in England. Again, talking about English companies up and coming, and you see this massive multi-conglomerate, and they're just a small company really manufacturing this stuff down on the south coast. I had no idea they were down there. It was Andover or Bournemouth, somewhere. I can't remember where he said now, but I was quite shocked when he actually told me where they were, to be fair. So
it's a little bit like me and yourself. First time we met was in NEC.
NEC,
Hull lads all the way down in NEC.
Exactly, we meet at the NEC, and we're literally probably a mile and a bit from each other.
Not too far away.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like unbelievable. So it's amazing where you meet people. It's like, I mean, I remember in my early days of going to America, we were literally in America talking to somebody at one of the auctions, and this person taps us on the back, and it happened to be literally one of our neighbours.
All the way out there.
All the way out there, and we hadn't seen this guy for probably a year, even though he's a neighbour, because he was always away on business. And he literally tapped us on the back. How are you two guys doing? It's like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing here? And he's like, I was just passing on a business trip, and I knew you always came here, so I thought I'd pop in to this particular auction. It's like, bloody hell. And it's just like, you're thousands of miles away, and you're really not. It's like they say, the world really isn't that big.
No.
It's on a grand scale of things, it really is quite small, because especially with technology now, where you can just literally be in touch with people. It's like, we could literally have someone phone in now and they could be in Australia, it would sound like they're sat next to us. It's, it's modern technology and everything, it's absolutely brilliant. And it's just brought everybody closer together. And it's, social media has its good points and its bad points, and it's how you use it, and it's like, the bad side of it is obviously the belittling and that sort of things, which is what I love about the IDA clan. It's, we're this huge family helping each other out with none of this bitching and screaming and belittling, and it's really, really good.
It's not something I've even ever seen. I mean, if it ever did happen, it would soon be stopped.
Yeah.
But it's not something I've ever come across as. I could go on that our Facebook page or go on the idea website and ask a question, I know I'm going to get an honest
get an
answer.
honest, straight answer. And it's honest, and it's not like a belittling response. Everything's, and it's always there. Anything else you need to know, give us a shout. And that's what I really love about it all. It's brilliant. Obviously, we're talking about where we met at the NEC and stuff like that. What made you get into leather? I know what you do on a weekend. That's obviously that's a different side of the leather.
I'm not talking about that.
No, we'll, that's a different podcast. Yeah, you never know. We might start another podcast up for that side of things. But we'll leather. I'll try to think of another name a little bit later on. But
Kinky Leather Podcast.
Yeah, Kinky Leather Podcast. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah. That'll be A&R Kinky Leather Podcast. There you go. Adam and Richard. So it'll suit AR detailing more. Don't tell everybody, folks. What made you get into leather? What made you offer the repairs? Was it something you were stuck with, or just wanted to learn?
Something I was fascinated by, that you could take a car that's got a tear in the leather, a puncture, something like that, and have it more or less, to most people, they wouldn't even see it's been repaired. And it was fascinating. I honestly thought if you tear your leather, you were going down a upholstery.
Like replacement?
Yeah, he's going to strip your seat down, he's going to take that panel out and replace it. I had no idea about painting leather. Not that I thought there was blue or pink cows. I just didn't understand.
How many people think there are, you know?
I just never kind of thought, how do they get it, pink or so on. And it was one of them, you start looking at the industry, and that's how I came across yourself. And it was, this is fantastic. We can offer this as a service. Fantastic story was a car that's coming to us this week. He's selling the vehicle. It's a Range Rover.
Is that the perforated leather one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely mind-blowing job. That
really tricky job. Probably the hardest one I've done so far.
They're not easy. Trust me, they're not easy.
Just trying to blend them perforated holes in without damaging the actual repair.
Yeah.
So he's coming. He's coming to get his wheels refurbished with the shop next door. We validated it. We've also done a light machine polish. Open the door, there's a tear in his leather. Obviously he's coming to sell it, he wants it looking his absolute best.
Yep.
We've talked to the customer, he's happy for us to repair it. For what we've charged him, he's probably gained that in the sale or not lost it in this sale.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just that one touch point that a customer who's looking to buy it, you think, there's a tear in the leather, you're going to have to knock some money off for that. That problem's gone now.
Exactly.
And it's that on every single job that comes in, when you're walking around with the customer could be in for a machine polish, ceramic coating. You're walking around the customer, just picking up any problems with the car, getting some history on it. You check the interior. You've got a tear in your seat there. Would you like us to fix it when it's here? You've added that to your sale in a sense.
Yeah, of course you have. Yeah, you've upsold. Yeah, definitely.
And that person is is happy because everything's in one roof.
Yeah.
It's all done. He's going to pick his car up. It's going to look fantastic on the outside. He's going to get in it and go, that tear that every time I get in I see is now gone.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had to take it to 4 different companies. It's all been done within the one unit.
Yeah.
And it's just that little extra we can add. As a business, the more you can offer, the more customers you're going to get.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah, keeping everything under one roof.
It's that's the basics of business sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it was just an extra thing we can offer. It's something that we've always been interested in. I find it fascinating watching your videos, even though I know you do it now. Yeah. I still find it fascinating, especially these.
Funnily enough, I actually watch them and I find it fascinating myself. To be fair, it's actually every time we're playing them when we're doing training, I'm sat there fixed on the screen while they're watching the videos of me explaining things, and it's like you almost have to snap out of it. It's like you made that video, you fool. But it is fascinating watching them back because you're actually watching it almost from an outside person looking in on it to see how you can improve and do things better. But it's with the hole in that interior, it's most people, the layman on the street, would look at that and say, Christ, that seat's ruined, it needs a new one. That's going to cost me a fortune for this car. The guy might be selling his Range Rover for, say, 10,000 quid. Somebody might go in and offer him £1,000 or more less, because they think that's what it's going to cost them to replace that seat.
Yeah,
not knowing that it can actually be repaired for a couple of hundred quid or whatever.
Yeah.
So you've probably saved that guy £1,000 loss on his interior for a couple of hundred quid repair or whatever the repair cost was, 150, whatever it was, you've saved him probably £1,000 loss. And even if it did cost 250 quid, he still made 750 because you've saved him that money. That's the beauty of the repair industry. It's the same. You get a really dull, crap looking car, you bring it alive, polish it all up, and people think it doesn't need a respray now. You know, and again, you've saved them thousands. So you know, you've added that value to the vehicle at the end of the day, and it's certainly well worth doing. But it is fascinating. I find the leather repair side of things absolutely fascinating. Even now, when I've been in it all these years, I still do things, and it's like, wow, how the hell did I manage to do that? And it's like, wish I'd videoed that, because now I've got to try to re-replicate it.
It is sod's law that the one time you don't take that before photo, it comes out absolutely amazing.
Don't tell me about that, please. I'm always forgetting the before photo, and I take the bloody afters, and it's like, damn it, I forgot the before again. I did it the other day on a couple of jobs when we were away, because obviously we've been doing stuff on the road, social distancing, where old folks need repairs and they can't sit down, they've got back problems, so we've been trying to help them out doing stuff on the road. And we go there, done the job, and it's like, damn, I didn't take the before photo, and that was such a bloody great transformation. And it's like, you just kick yourself, but you're trying to think of everything else. That's the thing about people messaging all the time, social media, so you're trying to keep on top of people, not letting them down, and you sort of forget what you're going to do, but you forget the first golden rule: take a photograph, do the job, take another one. And but anyway, it's one of those things. It can't be out just sod's law.
I've got the knack of doing the opposite. I take the before photo,
and then
just as the car's leaving the car park, I go, I'm taking the after
okay,
photos.
yeah, I've done that as well.
You're looking at it going, wow, that looks amazing. It's going to look great when I upload it. Oh, I ain't got anything to upload.
Yeah, I've done that a few times, and it's like, I can't remember what I did it with. It's like, we've actually did it with one car, with a Bentley that we did. He had like TV screens in the headrest, and where somebody, I don't know whether somebody like hacked them out or something, but it all torn it all around the edges of this TV screen where it's been fitted in, and it looked absolutely bloody disgusting. We repaired it, and it was, I mean, I don't always portray that you're going to get an invisible repair on leather. You can get them near us, but this actually was invisible. It was absolutely brilliant. Guy came and took the car, collected it, took it away, and I then got the photographs, went to upload, and I'm like, haha, didn't do that. Got the befores, forgot to take the after. And then trying to ring the guy to get him to take the pictures exactly how you want it. And it's never going to happen. It just didn't happen. I couldn't get him to take the photos at the same angle as I did. Even though I'm showing him, he's like, how you've done that, I don't know. And it just, bugger.
Nothing worse when you ask for the customer to send some photos because you forgot, and they send them, and it's like...
Nothing like it.
No, it's like they've used a 3 megapixel camera in the dark sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just touched on something about invisible repairs, and it's always something that I always remember on the training that we did, about, and you probably don't remember telling me this, if you cut your hand, and you can have the best plastic surgeon, you're going to have a scar.
Yeah, of course.
You've got to remember that when you're doing the leather repairs.
Yeah, exactly.
And using the before photos, like the repair was talking about on the Range Rover.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it going, well, I can see it.
Yeah.
And then
you can if you know what you're looking for. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I know what you're on about there. You can if you know what you're looking for. Yeah.
But then Stevie, who works for me, she pops over and says, "What do you think to that?" And she, "Oh, wow, it's amazing."
Yeah, bows down on the knees. Well, God.
Yeah. But it is just remembering that it is a repair.
Yeah. It is a repair, and that's what people got to understand.
Yeah, we are our biggest own critics. Definitely. Being a detailer, you're never happy.
No.
And sometimes it's good to have that before photo.
Yeah.
You're looking at it going,
just to remind yourself.
It's still not perfect, and then you look back at that before photo and you're like, wow, it is a big
that
improvement.
really is a big improvement.
Yeah. I know which one I'd rather have between the two.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even if, as you say, even if you can see the repair, and it's not like a shocking sort of vision that you're looking at, it's got to be better than a bloody great big hole in the seat, which is just going to get worse and worse and worse. Because if you have kids standing back, we know exactly what they're going to do. They're just going to start picking around with it, and that tear is going to become huge.
Things like that.
Sorry?
Kids don't do things like
that.
Don't they?
No. Oh, okay. No, it must be all the grown-ups and what they're doing on the back seat. God alone knows. Mind you, I don't know how his thing got there in the first place. It could have been a stiletto. You never know.
Well, so it's back onto our kinky leather.
The A&R Kinky Leather podcast. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, last sort of question before we sum it up. I mean, 'cause this is obviously episode 1 that we've done here. What is your future dream? How do you see the business going? Is there a dream, or are you just happy doing what you're doing and just keep learning, or do you want to expand and have loads of staff, or is that like, nah, I don't want that, I just want me and someone else, like you got Stevie at the moment, you just want to stick with you and Stevie with her doing a great job, or is it just, do you want to get another couple of guys in? How do you see the future, your dream?
It's a challenging one, that, because I've got two mindsets. One side of me says, grow the business, have a bigger unit. I mean, we're at that point now with the unit where it's starting to become, we could do with a bigger one. I do think big unit, have people working for me. I'd like to have specialists working, so not just someone who's kind of like a jack of all trades who can do everything from valeting a car all the way up to ceramic coatings. I'd like to have someone in who's just there to do PPF, just there to do machine polishing. Have people who are there to do the prep work. That'd be the big dream. But then the reason I started the business is I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
That is my. I'm not one of these where I'm chasing the money.
Yeah.
I don't want to be. It would be nice to be a millionaire.
It would be, yeah. I'm like you. It's not about being a millionaire. It's about resolving problems, being happy. As long as I can go out, I think you're probably. I've interrupted you now, but I think you're going to probably share the same sentiments as me. As long as I can go out, if like a washing machine broke, I could go out rather than scrimping and saving for months and months and months to be able to go and buy a new one. If I could just go out and just pay for that, without saying I've now got no fuel for the car for the next week, I've got to walk everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And it's just be in that position where I can go and do that. Yes, it would be lovely to have, to be a millionaire and have £1 million in the bank. But that obviously brings other problems with it, because the bigger you grow, the more problems you get.
The more stress.
I think there was a friend of mine with an old Chinese proverb where the Chinese man would wish you great employment. Obviously, what he meant was the opposite. Obviously, the more people you employ, the bigger problems you get.
Yeah.
So it's obviously where someone doesn't like you, they would wish you great employment. So just always remember that if you ever come across someone who wishes you great employment, you know what?
Worrying
they know they don't like you. So, but yeah, it's an interesting one. But I mean, it would be a nice vision, isn't it? I mean, having a bigger factory. We're at the point with you. We really need a bigger factory, and I'm like, we've got so much invested here, and we're so well known. Do we? Don't we?
Yeah, it's an hard one. It really is.
Yeah.
It's that when you come to that point of jumping.
Yeah.
When do you jump?
When do you jump? Yeah.
Because you can leave it too late.
You can do. Yeah. Miss the boat.
Yeah, you're kicking yourself for the rest of your days, sort of thing. That we should have done that. It would have worked. But without doing it, you're never gonna know if it would work or not.
No, it's the same with our website. It's like what. So I was talking to Curtis yesterday, who's like our new general manager, who's going to be eventually the managing director of our business and take over and everything. I was saying to Curtis, it's like our website. It's like the whole business is like our baby. The website has been there from the beginning, and it was like this simple little thing, couple of pages, and it's grown and grown and grown without being a brand new website. So it's like become extremely messy, extremely difficult. And I think if we had have bitten the bullet 10 years ago and invested in a state-of-the-art website at that time, we would be in a very, very different position we are today. And that is probably one of the only regrets I've got with what I've got with my business, is I never did that 10 years ago. But we're doing it right now. And that's the beauty of it. We're literally transforming the whole business. The logos, the branding, everything. The restorers, the red triangle's gone. But the red triangle has a nice story behind it, because it was our daughter that invented it. She drew it, our youngest daughter, so that's why the new one now has 3 triangles, but they got curves to it, so it's telling the story. But there's a reason why we've got all those, which I'll talk to you about off air. So I mean, but because that's all going to come out in the future with how the company's progressing. But it's finding that right time to do that leap, and we didn't do it at the right time, because we could have been far better. We could have had more people around the world now than what we have today. And it is finding that right balance. It's knowing when to do it. And it's a difficult one. It's not something I can advise you when to do it. You almost feel like it's right to do it when it shouldn't have been right to do it, if you see what I mean. It's like, I should have done this, and then you're like, I'm going to do it, and I'm doing it right now. And that's what we've done with the website. It's because we're doing everything. The branding, the labels, the red labels are going, everything. The whole thing. Everything's changing. The uniforms, the outlook, the banners, the logos, the branding, the website. And it's a 50 grand investment, and it's like, I can't afford to spend that, but I'm going to do it because I know it's going to earn us more money in the long run.
It's one of them, like you just said, 50 grand, you can't really afford to do
exactly.
it. But at the same time, you can't afford not to do it.
Can't afford not to do it, no.
Bit of a vicious circle at times.
It is, so it's going to sort of like get us into a debt situation to do it, which I don't mind doing, because I know that the outcome will be far worth the debt that we're going to put into now. So the struggle, it's almost like someone buying a house for the first time. It's the debt at the beginning is well worth the end result, and that's exactly how we're viewing it with this, and it's something that I'm not frightened about doing. And it's just having the balls to do it, and it's and it's excuse the pun, but when you do it, you've got to go hell for leather.
Oh yeah, if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah, if you're going to do it and do the whole thing, which is what we're doing. We're literally doing everything. We did it a few years ago when we changed from leather repair company to restorers, because obviously Restorers Limited is our company, and we changed everything overnight from black and white to the red. Literally overnight, we appeared at the NEC, and the website. Nothing. It was all the old website, and it was still the same website, but we just changed the whole theme and the colours and everything. Literally at midnight, before everybody was asleep, we literally pressed a button, the whole website changed, we appeared at the NEC, the whole brand new outlook, and it was literally everything was changed. I was driving everybody here completely mad because every bottle was getting changed. And they're like, Richard, it's a waste of money. Sell it with the old label. No, change it. Because I wanted literally the transformation to be everything across the board, and we did that. Whatever it is, 4 or 5 years ago, and we're now doing it again. But it's even worse this time because it's even bigger. But it's knowing when you do that. I don't know, and I don't think there ever is a right time. It's just having, I think, the guts to do it.
Yeah.
I think, to be fair,
I think that's.
You can miss the boat because the industry can take over and almost get to its point where it's phasing out and new things are coming in, and you can get into it a little bit too late. But I think it's having the guts to do that and see it through.
I think it's that point when you didn't do it and someone else does it.
Yeah.
That's the real kick.
Yeah.
I mean, starting AR detailing, realistically, the person I actually started it with, which is I'm Adam, and a friend who I started the business with was called Ryan, who's in the AR, and it was him who actually pushed us to do it. And like I look back now and I'm a little bit more cautious maybe, but he was the one who was like, no, right, it's done
just
now.
Do it.
The website's there now. And it was like, wow, I thought we was going to wait till we had this in place, and that. No, let's just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
And it was totally different. And realistically, it's probably the success from the off by doing it that way.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is just ripping that band-aid off and just going all in sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's helped in a couple of decisions. One being the website, like you said. Investing a lot of money into that. It is just sometimes you just got to go, it feels right, let's do it. Yeah. And just put it all in. I think a lot of things, and not just in business, detailing, I mean a lot of things in life you just got to know when
you've got to do it. Yeah, you've got to do it and dedicate to it and do it. And I'm a great believer in I always say to people, when I make my mind up with something, I always say just do it. Just do it. Don't procrastinate, do it. And they're like, but we can't. There's a contract that we've got, and when we got this particular contract, all the staff turned around to me and they were like, Richard, you cannot do this. And I sort of got all my initial sort of positiveness from early days of having meetings. I was in a fortunate position with the family that got me involved with this. They own 9 tents in Knightsbridge, so they used to have like lots of meetings with very wealthy people and all the governments and stuff like that, and people like Branson, Richard Branson and stuff like that were always at these meetings, and it was always in a lucky position of that where whenever he sat down around a table, Richard Branson, it was always like, look guys, what are you doing? Just get on with it and do it, will you?
Yeah.
Just do it. And that's what I did, and everybody's like, Richard, you can't do that. And it was with this particular contract that I just turned around to the people and said, yep, we're going to do that. They were like, you need 50 people. I'm like, I'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah. Let's just get the contract, get the money coming in, then we'll deal with it. And they were like, Richard, you cannot cope with this. And we got the contract, and they all look back now and they were like, how did you know you wouldn't need 50 people? I said, because I just knew we wouldn't.
Just a feeling.
It's just a feel. I just knew that I could do it on my own and with another member, and that's exactly what we did, and that's what we're still doing now, 6-7 years later. And it's just, I just knew it was going to go that way. And they were like, you were really worrying us. We thought you were going to bankrupt the business. We're taking on too much because you were going to get sued because you couldn't honour the contract. And I'm like, nah, I knew we were going to do it because I wasn't going to fail. I'm not a failure. Yes, we've had things fail and we've got up and we brushed off, looked at what's caused the failure, learned from it, moved forward, and that's what it's about. And that's what we did there. And it's just learning from your failures and going forward.
I mean, I think a lot of that was possibly gut instinct.
Gut instinct,
but
being positive.
As well was knowing your own business.
Yes, yeah.
And that's like a big piece of advice I can give people is not to listen to people outside of your business sometimes.
Yeah.
It's you who knows your business.
Yeah, you know your business, yeah. And I think you can sometimes listen to the wrong people as well. And I would say that the worst people to listen to is probably family members, because they're always trying to look on the cautious side.
Money.
But with money and stuff like that. But one thing I would say is to anybody that wants to get somebody almost like as a business mentor, I have a couple, and these are very well respected people in the industry, some of them turning over upwards of 25-30 million pound a year, and I can call on these guys whenever I want to ask them for something and share an idea with them, and they'll bounce it off me, and they'll say something back to me that I've never even thought of at all, and I'll be like, yeah, you're right, actually we can't do this. And they're always there to give sound advice, because they've been there, gone through it. I mean, some of these people have got like several hundred staff, and they know what it's like to struggle, and they're really good sound people to have. It's just, but what you must never be frightened of is actually asking these people. So if you want to get someone come into your unit that you know is a multi-millionaire, don't ever be frightened to ask them, can I ask you something to do with business, a bit of sound advice? Do you know what? They'd actually be glad you've asked them, because they know, they can sense, they can read your body language, they will know you've been dying for years to ask them that question. And once you've asked them, they will do nothing but help you. And they are some of the best people you could possibly help, because they've seen all the pitfalls, they've been there, done it multiple times, and grown their multi-billion pound or multi-million or multi-billion pound businesses. And those are the sort of people that you need, because they actually love to help you, and they'll do it free of charge most of the time. You know, and they're really good people to have on board.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We've had some fantastic mentors. Yourself, Richard, class you as one of my mentors. You know, he was there when we needed help before. Craig in the idea, he's fantastic at that. We've had some great customers along the way. Like what you just saying, people you know, they've let on, they've got a big company or a big local company. Just as you get chatting, you can learn so much from these people.
Just listening,
and like you say, ask the question. Even if it's, I don't know the answer, but I know someone who can.
Yes.
That tends to be what you can get back from a hell of a lot. But at the same time as well, a mentor doesn't have to be a positive mentor.
No.
And that you can learn just as much from someone.
From a negative one.
There is someone who I won't say his name obviously, but someone I often think, whatever you're doing, I'm doing the opposite. And I think I'll be a lot closer to the truth there. But you've got, especially in our industry, it does tend to be a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say wealthy, but a higher income industry. The customers and clients who've got money to spend on nice cars and keep them looking. Because half the issue, you just buy a nice car. We can't all afford nice Maseratis, can we?
No, not everybody can. No.
But it's not just buying the car; it's keeping the car.
It's keeping the car.
Servicing it. It costs a lot of money.
Hence why I don't drive mine very much. I think I can't afford to keep pricing the tyres, and 9,000 quid for a service. Forget it. It's not happening.
But these people, when they bought the car, they've serviced it, and then they're bringing it to you to have the leather repaired or ceramic coating, or just to maintain the vehicle. They have got a certain level of wealth that a lot of people don't
have.
And what a great audience to have, not only just to help you, but to talk to. And I can think of loads of customers, and they come in, it's like I set half an hour aside on pickup. Because I know they're going to come in and just talking to them.
Talk about stuff,
You talk business to someone, and that's all they've done. They've built this business up from the ground. And they're so happy to talk about it. It's almost like car guys when you start talking about cars to them. That's all they know. It's great. You can get so much advice from them. Absolutely loads.
Oh, you can. You can learn to. I mean, I'm a great believer with asking them a question and just sitting back and listening, and then making little notes of certain words they've mentioned, which I can expand upon that and do really well from it. And that I think is the good thing. I mean, it's one of the reasons why God gave us one mouth and two ears. I mean, it's talk, but also you've got two ears to listen, so listen more than what you talk. It's very, very good. Probably with that cue, everybody's thinking, will he bugger off? So that's obviously episode 1. So it's been a really good interview with Adam, and I've really enjoyed it, and we've got a couple of surprises coming. Obviously we're totally leathered with something else, which we're going to discuss with Adam in a second off air, and then obviously do another podcast to do with something else, which is another podcast that we've got coming, so which Adam and myself are doing, which is going to be a really, really interesting podcast. So you're going to have to look out for that in a second, but we're going to do this second interview in a second. So that's everything for today with Adam from AR Detailing in Hull, valeting and detailing, from Adam Blackwell. So thank you very much, Adam. It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you for having me on.
No problem at all. Thank you very much.